The last thing we need is more division, and I think Mr. Casey, submitting his ability and his skill, each of us in this room has a skill to offer. And pardon my exceeding the time briefly, each of us in this room has a skill to offer. And what we need right now as a party is to come together and bring those skills together, guys. Each person in this room has something different to offer this party. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I hope that we can all learn to recognize that and support each other. That's all I have to say. I second the nomination.
Personal privilege or whatever I have to call it. As somebody who already seconded the nomination of Nick Casey, I do want to point out that 3 people have spoken in favor of Nick Casey, only 2 have spoken in favor of Rob. In the interest of fairness, I think there should be an opportunity for one more person to speak to Rob's nomination, and then we go.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of Richie Robb?
I think for time's sake, if there's not anybody dying to, we should just move on.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the nominations and ask the clerk to call the roll.
So moved.
All right.
Who moved, I'm sorry? George. Can't see you.
Close the nominations. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Danielle Walker.
Nick Casey.
Sam Petzl.
Nick Casey.
Lisa Lucas. Richie Robb. Elaine Harris.
Nick Casey.
Pat Maroney.
Nick Casey.
Danielle Stewart.
Richie Robb.
Chris Pennington.
Richie Robb.
Red Greer.
Richie Robb.
Shane Ossipzandi.
Nick Casey.
Jenny Craig.
She had to leave.
Okay. Sorry, Christina Bayston. Hold on just one second. I didn't search her name. Christina Bayston.
Richie Robb.
Jerry Brookover.
Nick Casey.
Cameron Miller.
Nick Casey.
Lee Coombs.
Richie Robb.
Selena Vickers.
Richie Robb, but I think that you might have missed Danny Longwell.
I did not. Mr. Longwell is not a voting member. I was not aware of that the first time I called roll, so his number was removed. But in our bylaws, the associate chairs do not have a vote at this time, so that's something the next committee will have to take up to change.
Point of inquiry, Ida Lee is associate chair, you've been calling her name all day for a vote.
We didn't take one vote for her,
But you called her name to get a vote.
but we never got one from her because I kept forgetting, but no one ever voted, and I assure you, no one voted when I called Ida Lee's name.
Another point of inquiry, I'd like to.
You should actually be addressing your questions to the chair and not the secretary. I shouldn't actually be.
And you're absolutely right.
I
Chair Pushkin, this is a little complicated issue because it has to do with the bylaw changes. When the bylaws were changed in March of 2021, they made every officer a voting member. It was an accident that they left in the associate chairs were non-voting positions. I had a conversation with our former chair before last night about that. She might speak to that, but it was the intention for every member to have a vote, and that was just a problem in the bylaws that didn't get cleaned up.
I got the bylaws, I can only deal with the bylaws in front of me right now. If it's going to be addressed, it's going to be addressed at the next meeting of the bylaws committee.
Okay.
I can only go by what I have right now.
I voted for Rich Rob. Thank you.
And if there are any other questions like that, if you would please wait until until I've gone through the list, and then you can question it, then we can address those people that may have been overlooked. It's just, now I've lost my place and I've lost my groove, so.
My apologies.
Let me get back on track here. James Griffin,
My proxy, Nick Casey.
thank you. Ariana Islam,
Casey.
Exia Vega,
My proxy was uninstructed, but Ixia and I never discussed this race, so out of respect to my lack of knowledge about her vote, I will abstain.
okay. Josiah Soren,
Richie Rob.
Wilma Steele, Ray Whitting,
White.
Whiting. Because you gave me a hard time when you checked it today. Anna Gillespie,
Nick Casey.
Laura Walker,
Nick Casey.
Troy Miller,
Abstain.
Gabe Pena,
By proxy, Nick Casey.
Cindy Lavender Bowe, Nick Casey, Doug Scaff,
Nick Casey.
Natalie Klein,
Richie Rob.
Kathy Link, Casey, Charles Ehlenfeld,
Nick Casey.
Michael Traubert,
Richie Rob.
thank you, Jennifer Beach,
Nick Casey.
Kim Frum, Nick Casey, Ronald McCoy,
Nick Casey.
Sunny Oakland,
Nick Casey.
Judith Stevens,
Nick Casey.
Jerry Brookover,
Nick Casey. Oh, you called me
oh,
before.
I'm sorry, we are voting for treasurer, I thought, I'm sorry. Simon Hargis,
Nick Casey.
Bonnie Fruth, Nick Casey, Tess Jackson,
Abstain.
Ben Barkey, Floyd Sayer,
Nick Casey.
Stephanie Heck,
Rob.
Tammy Print. Okay, she's gone. Tim Bias,
Richie Rob, by proxy.
Matt Spurlock,
Casey.
Deb McCarthy,
Abstain.
Phyllis White, abstain. Robert Otsa,
Abstain.
Marcus Wilkes,
Abstain.
Mary Ann Clayton,
Richie Rob.
thank you. Heather Hayes,
Casey.
Farron Williamson, Amanda Eastep Burton,
Nick Casey, please.
Amanda Shelton, Keith Lottie,
Casey.
Christy Cardwell, Kelly Elkins, Bob Baker,
Casey.
David Thompson, Diane Browning, Margaret Staggers,
Nick Casey.
Jamie Spencer,
Nick Casey.
Rachel Tompkins, Brenda Weiss,
Richie Rob.
Adam Starks, Cody Thompson, Michelle Carpenter,
Casey.
Susan Miley, Ryan Deems,
Casey.
thank you. Joey Garcia,
Nick Casey.
Mark Music, Deanna Armentrout,
Casey.
Candy Sisler, Jason Armentrout,
Casey.
Randy Titchnell,
Casey.
Dorothy Kangwa,
Casey.
Virginia Sign.
Yeah, Nick Casey.
Thank you. Richard Rector, Charlie Streisel,
Casey.
Cheryl Lawrence, Maria Russo,
Casey.
Ken Collinson,
Nick Casey.
Matt Coulterman,
Abstain.
Bonnie Brown,
Casey.
Patty Hamilton, Nick Casey, Richie Raw,
Richie Rob.
David Tucker,
Richie Rob.
and Bob Stoltz. Did I call your name to vote?
Casey.
Thank you. As I went down the list, I thought, did I miss anybody?
Kelly?
Yes,
I'd like to change my vote to Richie Rob, please.
okay. Oh, that's right, you abstained, correct? Kelly, if I could. Wait, let me take care of Mr. Austin first. So I'm taking one away from abstain and adding one to Richie Rob. Yes,
I would like to change my vote to Richie Raw and also my proxy to Richie Raw.
and yours, were yours abstention?
Yes,
As
ma'am.
well? And you're changing them to Richie Rob?
Yes, ma'am.
Two of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I was just actually saying it for the, I'm recording it so that I, when I go, all right. Is that all? Yes, sir.
How are my votes recorded? I just wanted, this point of saying, that's all, with the point of order. Question.
You voted both for Nick Casey?
Okay, there are two votes recorded for me, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, one is as the proxy and one is,
I was going to ask about,
I'm sorry?
in my capacity as a representative of Senate District 10,
You don't get that vote. You only receive, it's one vote, one person, one vote. So once you become an officer, then you don't vote as your district.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. What was I doing? I'm counting now.
Thank you. For the office of treasurer, Nick Casey, 56, Richie Rob, 25, 5 abstentions. Congratulations, Nick.
Now I'm going to call your name.
Briefly, before we go on to parliamentarian, vice chair, I'd like to briefly address the
Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate each and every one of you being here and the support and the work that we have ahead of us, but I do have a prior commitment. I am organizing and one of the organizers for the Juneteenth event in Fairmont, West Virginia, and I have a mammogram scheduled in about 20 minutes, so I need to fly to Fairmont. But I did want to extend an invite as we watch that video about Juneteenth. This is Jubilee Day. We welcome you to come to Windmill Park and see our culture, to enhance and respect American history, because it is. So please join me at Windmill Park, 920 Godden Avenue. I will be there until 11 o'clock tonight. So you guys have a good day, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, true blue, true blue.
Thank you. Also want to thank Mary Ann Clayton, the chair, the female chair of the Black Caucus, and the Black Caucus's work on the video that we had before our meeting tonight. Now,
Delegate Walker. Yes. Want any of these buttons to take with you? Yes. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Shane. Go ahead.
Related to Delegate Walker's comments, Jenny Craig, the new secretary, was participating via Zoom because she is at the Labor Notes Conference in Chicago and had a 3 o'clock commitment. But she asked me to let everybody know that, and also Kelly, when she gets back, she will contact you to assist with the transition, and I'll make that introduction.
Thank you. All right. Open the nominations for the office of parliamentarian.
Mr. Chair, Judy Stevens, Wood County, I nominate Nikki Lauer.
Is there a second? Matt Halterman from the 15th District seconds the nomination for Nikki Lauer.
He's 16.
16? I apologize. Is there further nominations?
Chair, if it would please the committee, I would like to close nominations and send Nikki Lauer position parliamentarian by accident.
So moved. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Nikki. The ayes have it. And we've been operating without a parliamentarian so far, so that's not too much.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for allowing me this position and for supporting me along the way. A parliamentarian's job is to inform the members of their rights, the smooth processes, and for advancing their goals as representatives, and to provide a referee and neutral opinion about the rules as they are. The Assembly's rights have to be parliamentarians' priority. Talking to a few of you over the last few days, I recognize a lot of you aren't comfortable in your abilities to comprehend parliamentary procedure as a whole. It is a large book, 700 pages. I want to build a culture of open discussion in the party. I want folks to feel comfortable coming to me to ask questions, how to make a motion, how to make points of inquiry and points of order, the processes of getting a motion passed. Elected members of organizations should not be put in the position of keeping their voices silent because they aren't sure of the process. It is a means of oppression, and knowledge is power. Everyone should have an equal opportunity to learn how to make motions and to do business during organization meetings. Here. I want to bring trainings on parliamentary procedure to county executive committees, ensuring access to resources, including guides that will be created by myself that explain things explicitly and to the point. There's no more 600-page rules. You guys have jobs and families that you need to take care of. there needs to be at least some kind of access to terms that someone just starting out can understand. Otherwise, you're just throwing things at a wall and hoping they'll stick. It took me 8 years to learn parliamentary procedure, and I'm still learning. The only way I've learned parliamentary procedure to the best of the ability that I have is by training the high schoolers I have for the last 6 years who went on to national competitions in Scales USA. That is the only reason why I'm able to do what I am comfortably. I want to bring the parliamentary role to the digital realm, creating a space accessible to all to discuss lapses in knowledge and just to create a more informative assembly. And thank you all for the opportunity. I look forward to working with you guys.
We'll put you to work immediately. Kurt, thanks for helping out today.
You're welcome.
How about a bigger applause for Kurt? I want to thank everybody who ran, everybody who showed up here and voted, everybody who's been hanging out this long. Give yourselves a round of applause real quick. Okay. I know, that's what I was going to get to. Yeah, I got the order of business here. I'll get the hang of it. All right, we are on the order of resolutions. Are there any resolutions? Do you have Thornton's resolution?
I don't have it. If you want to start on that one.
We'll go ahead and start with Thornton.
I did 3 resolutions.
Okay.
One is each of 3 proposed constitutional amendments on the ballot in November.
Excuse me, could you repeat that?
I prepared 3 separate resolutions, one against each of 3 of the 4 proposed amendments to the state constitution on the November general election ballot.
Okay.
They've been numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not taking a position on the incorporation of churches. It's the other 3, I think, that one I don't care about. I mean, the other 3 are things that are involve democratic principles. That is category B.
Okay. We'll take up the resolution. Well, you would. Can I see a copy of the resolution? Okay. These are dealing with 3 separate issues. I think we do need to vote on each of them separately. There's 3 different. The first resolution would be against the first Amendment 1 on the November 8th ballot, and that is.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I have a point of inquiry. Right, we allow members of this committee time to review each of the amendments to the Constitution and vote on the resolution here. So essentially, a motion to suspend for later review and vote, and that way.
Are you moving to table them?
Certainly not table them, but I guess alter how we have the opportunity to review them, because I think this is something that's very important and a statement that we should be making as a party, because certainly when you're amending the state constitution is serious, but I'm concerned that all of us in the room are a little bit tired to review this.
Yeah. Well, there is will we be meeting?
We can distribute this digitally. It will sound very poorly worded, I'm sure, and
Secretary didn't want to do
so
that.
the parliamentarian will have to pardon me, but I would move to allow the committee more time to review by digital distribution of the important amendments, as we want to make the statement as a party very clear. As I said, it's an amendment to our state constitution, that's a really big deal. I would like this to be digitally distributed, including copies of the amendments that are being proposed on the ballot in November, as well as copies of the resolution, so that the committee will have adequate time to comment.
The motion is to lay over the resolutions until it can be electronically disseminated to the committee, and we can go over them properly. There will be, and we will get back together and vote up or down on the resolutions before, in a timely manner, before the November election, which is when these are on the ballot.
In addition to that, we can send them out, have them review it, and send the ballot
Okay, is there discussion on the motion from Ms. Walker?
I'll second it.
I don't know if you need to second that, but there could be debate on it. Paul?
Members of the Assembly, I believe the delegate is correct in saying that this is going to take time to review. It doesn't hurt us to table this for the time being, postpone it to the next meeting, and to review it digitally and propose discussion and debate for the next meeting. I actually would encourage the Assembly to vote for this, not just to expedite time, but because it is a wise decision to make. So I urge you to vote in favor of the motion to postpone to the next meeting, pending digital review.
Just a point of clarification, my motion was not to table the amendments, certainly
Yes,
not to
yes.
table the amendments, I want to emphasize that.
Yeah, postpone to the next meeting.
I want to suspend the immediate vote and review of the resolutions, so that we can have adequate time and vote digitally to get it done faster. It's just correct.
The motion is to postpone to a specific time, and it will be done in a timely fashion, so every member of the committee will be able to read it and have an informed vote. That's the,
Yeah, I'm not objecting to that. I just didn't want to be accused of waiting too late, because a lot of times people don't make us even find out what's on the ballot till like a day or two before. So I want to make sure that I had things prepared. I didn't know if you all be able to deal with it today, but I wanted to have it ready if people were ready, because I do lay out what is in the full text of the amendment and how it's written on the ballot. That's already in the resolution, but that's fine. I just want to make sure I'm right out there, and I know you all will do it.
Thank you.
the further discussion,
I just have a question probably for the sponsor.
the sponsor yield,
Are you,
Laura?
is your motion table, not table, to postpone to the next meeting or to vote electronically?
My motion is to, I don't know if we're going to need a motion to suspend the rules also and, jump to an agenda item, since we're skipping essentially resolutions now. But my motion would be to suspend immediate vote and review of these important resolutions. Distribute it electronically, including copies of the proposed amendments that will be on the ballot in November, in order to give a more thorough time and an expeditious digital review of these things. And that way everyone can kind of look at them on their own time, edit them in the way that they're comfortable with and what feels best. But there will be, Mr. Chair, I'm assuming a deadline for this, that'll be sooner rather than later. I mean, it certainly doesn't have to be until the committee meeting, since it's the business of the day.
Yeah, that's my confusion, because.
Yeah, I don't think we want to hold off until the committee meets, so I'll clarify that my motion is not include that.
Okay.
I'd like it to be urgent.
Thanks.
Yeah, a point of order, I understand what people are trying to do here, but there's nothing in the bylaws that provides for us to table something now, send something out later, and vote on it. It's my hope that we'll have another meeting within 60 days.
I'll clarify once more, my motion is not to change.
A Zoom meeting, yeah, I'm sorry, to have like a virtual meeting, everybody on Zoom, before, in plenty of time before the general election, to then be able to vote on this in a meeting. So that's my point of order, but I do support tabling this until the next virtual meeting.
The motion is to postpone to a date certain. We'll get a chance to read it, and we'll be able to vote on it in a timely fashion well before the general election in November.
Right.
Is there further discussion?
To say, I'll even amend my motion to say, so long as the committee reviews and votes on this within a reasonable time, as declared by the chair. How's that?
Is there further discussion on the motion? Lonnie?
Question.
Yes.
Chair. Could we just, there are 3 resolutions here. Could we just have the topics? One I know is the property tax, right?
No, actually, one, which I thought was property tax, how it's,
That's one thing.
but then the resolutions are not correct.
No, the resolutions are, the first one, I'm going by the numbering system of the Secretary of State's office. So when the legislature put these things out to go on the ballot, they all were numbered amendment number 1. So it's the Secretary of State's office that decides which one's 1, which one's 2, which one's 3, and which one's 4. So I've got that information. It was emailed to me earlier this week, so that's how those numbers were on there. So yes, the property tax constitutional amendment is one of the three. One has to do with the power of the judiciary, one has to do with the power of the state board. Those are the three. The one that had to do with incorporating churches, I do not agree.
Okay. Did everybody get that? The three resolutions are, and the first one that is listed is about clarifying the proceeding, the impeachment proceedings, which I'm way too familiar with, for the judiciary. And the second one is the property tax modernization amendment. That one allows the legislature to remove certain property taxes. And the fourth one is the one that would have the legislative oversight of the State Board of Education. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Those are the three amendments. The motion is to postpone to a date certain, which we will be convening on Zoom to get these out and on a timely fashion, but if it is the will of the committee to take some time and read them for themselves. Is there further discussion?
Just to make sure, so that the online in our email will have a way to comment, edit, and vote up or down? Is that what the plan is?
Now, you would have a chance to read it, and then, as stated, that we could have a Zoom meeting and vote on it. If there's nothing in the bylaws for this type of ballot, I will check that. If there's truly nothing in the bylaws to allow us to do that, then we can convene a Zoom meeting with the proper notice and vote on it. Okay? Is there further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Aye. Okay. So the resolutions will be postponed to a date certain, and we'll have do they have an electronic version of it that they can send out more easily?
Yeah, I emailed it all to Pam, and so I made a few paper copies, but I mean, if she's made all these paper copies, you're obviously going to pass them out. Probably.
There's paper copies.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if Jenny's still on here, but she has her first job. Any further resolutions?
Point of order, we have the treasurer's report to be submitted at this meeting.
We did not.
Okay, thank you.
I have a motion, okay? As we've kind of discussed a little bit, I move that the chair shall report to the executive committee within 90 days the results of an independent audit to be commissioned by the new chair into finances, expenditures, incomes, receipts, and any other money deemed fit of the West Virginia Democratic Party for the